laws are still on the books in Virginia, blacks and whites must sit in separate rail cars. They cannot use the same playgrounds, schools, or mental hospitals. They can't marry each other either. These measures have not been enforced for decades, obviously, but they do remain in the state's official legal record. On Thursday, a state commission recommended that dozens of such discriminatory statutes finally be repealed. The commission said that the law should be repealed in the legislative session that begins in January. Governor Ralph Northam has pledged to work with fellow Democrats who will control the General Assembly to do so. Here to give us more insight on that is Onyx News correspondent Dr. UA Thompson. Dr. Thompson, what are you making of all of this?
Well, I think these laws should have been repealed and abolished. I don't think they need to go to some museum and become some type of archival history. This is wrong, and it should be amended and repealed as expeditiously as possible. I appreciate the governor and the other legislators for wanting to follow suit and do this. And also appreciate the panels, but really you don't have to assemble panels. These things are wrong. While slavery was legal, it was not right. And having these laws still on the books to date is definitely not right, and in many cases illegal, because slavery now is illegal.
Northam has announced the formation of the commission in June. This was several months after a scandal erupted over a racist photo of someone in blackface and someone in a Ku Klux Klan robe on his medical school yearbook page. He initially acknowledged it, and then he was in the photo. He initially acknowledged that he was in the photo and apologized, then reversed his course or his statement the next day, saying that he wasn't in a photo. Obviously, the controversy nearly forced him out of office, but he resisted, and he resisted the resignation and pledged to focus on the remainder of his term addressing Virginia's long history of racism and racial, issues. Dr. Thompson, where are we with all of this? We tend to have conversations about racism, about racial things that are happening. It is just the craziest thing that we are still even having to have this type of conversation in 2019. Where are we with all of this?
Absolutely, Nietzsche, and you're right about the governor taking a position at first that he was indeed in the photo, and then withdrawing that position. But I would say, and as I said then, I so say now, the governor had to have some type of blackface, KKK uniform paraphernalia in his past, because he immediately withdrew from a position that he said was indeed him. So maybe it wasn't this particular picture, but there is a picture someplace with him having been shown in blackface, posing someone in a KKK suit or what have you. I think this is shameful in the 21st century. I appreciate his willingness to try to help us combat this, but I think America must deal with its original sin, which is racism and discrimination, as well as slavery. And until that is done and removed from the hearts and the minds and the psyche of the American conscience, we are still going to see these types of things playing out consistently on a daily basis. Just because a racist is incognito doesn't mean that it's okay or that they are not racist. I think we have to root out such and expose such, because that's the only way you're going to get true liberation from such a deadly disease, I will call it, as racism is. And as you said, it's a shame that we still have to fight this.
Dr. Thompson, you always seem to shed light on things for us in an amazing kind of way. Thank you for a great conversation today. As always, thank you for awesome reporting.
Thank you, Nietzsche.